clubs. Tottenham ain't been the only club that have done it. Norwich did it. Liverpool, another club that did it. Newcastle have done it. Liverpool, last week, they'd done a U-turn on it. They were getting heavily criticised by everybody in football, heavily criticised by their own fans. Tottenham are being heavily criticised by their own fans as well. We had expressions on there last week, and he was very angry about it. He's a hardcore Tottenham fan, but he was really upset that the club had gone and done that. There's been the Tottenham Trust that have been having a go at them as well. And now we see today that Tottenham have done a big U-turn on this whole thing. Let me just read out part of their statement. This is what they said. With no clarity on when football might resume and under what conditions, we shall continue to keep it under ongoing review. We're acutely aware that many supporters were against the decision we made regarding furloughing staff who could not carry out their jobs from home. This once again underlines that we bear different pressures to other businesses, many of whom have and will continue to apply for support from the scheme that the government intended, but they have decided that they are not going to furlough their staff. And it's really been down to the pressure that has been put on them by the world of football, and also massive pressure by their own fans who are really, really upset. Listen, I'm backing the Tottenham fans on that one. Yeah, I mean, they were right to have a go. The right thing that Tottenham have done here, or have they left it too late?
Well, they've got to the right decision, but it shouldn't have got to the point where they furloughed their staff. Same with Liverpool. I think Newcastle have done it. I think you said Norwich have done it. And there's other clubs that have done it.
Have done it.
Yeah, and this is the thing, like that scheme, that thing is set up not to help multi-billion-pound businesses. Yeah, it's set up to help. It's not there to help a football club, is what I'm saying. Yeah, which is a massive organisation, a massive business, awash with money left, right, and centre. It's there for the regular person. Yeah, in a regular job of a company that's not flush with money and has not got a massive revenue stream coming in.
Mind you could argue though. You could argue, right? Playing devil's advocate here, you could argue that a company like, I don't know, British Airways, or they're multi-billion-pound companies as well, and they're using the scheme. So, maybe that's why some of the football clubs looked on it that way as well. Well, what's the difference?
Yeah, listen, I get that, right? But at the end of the day, we all know the money that flows around in football, Robbie. Yeah, from the Sky deal, from the BT Sport deal. With social media now, the ins and outs of every deal before it even happens. So we know how much the players earn, how much all the owners are getting, how much the club's earning every year. We see all of that. So I think listen, I'm not going to sit here and completely destroy Tottenham, because at the end of the day, they're not the only club that have done it. Yes, they shouldn't have done it. Yeah, and I hope and pray, my fingers are crossed, Arsenal better not do it. Yeah, because I will have steam coming out of my ears.
Well, I don't think they would now. They'd be totally nuts to do it now, wouldn't they?
Yeah, it'd be a massive.
After they've seen the backlash that Tottenham have got, that Liverpool have got, they'd be totally crazy to try and do that now.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing is, I know, like, when you look at it, like, both of them clubs, I'd imagine, Tottenham's revenue streams and income has gone above Arsenal's, I think, for the last 12 months. I think they're sitting above us in terms of income. They've just moved into that massive new stadium. I've seen loads of memes going around on social media, like they're using it so they can pay off the stadium and stuff. Like, I've seen so much funny stuff. But when you look at it and when you analyse it properly, yeah, they were stupid to do it in the first place. And the same with Liverpool. Liverpool made £40 million profit in the last calendar year. Yeah, or reportedly £40 million. So, when you look at that, how can they then furlough their staff when they're announcing profits of 40 million quid? Yeah, that's just a little bit, I don't know, a bit muggy, isn't it?
It is. But talking of Arsenal, they haven't furloughed their staff, but they came out with this 5-point plan. that they put out. And I don't know what you thought about that, because basically saying to the players that, listen, they want them to take a pay cut unless they get into the Champions League. If they get into the Champions League, they wouldn't have to do a pay cut. If they get into the Europa League, they'd want them to take a pay cut of 7.5. I think it was 7.5%. You know, or yeah. What do you think of that? What do you think? Do you think that's right, or do you think that's wrong as well? The owner of the club asking players to take a cut.
See, it's a hard one, right? Because I've said quite a bit on this in the last couple of days, right? That as a business, you've got to try and run in cost. Yeah, if your costs are not, if you're not running in cost, say your costs are 10% of your income, for example, but you're running at 30% of your income, yeah, eventually you're going to start chasing your backside a little bit, right? And all this has done is highlight, not just for Arsenal, by the way. I'll come on to the question you asked, and I'll answer that. I'm just going around the houses, so bear with me. But all this has done is highlight how poorly a lot of football clubs are run. Yeah, because, you know, we've just spoke about billionaire businesses or £billion businesses. And on one hand, you could say Stan Kroenke should get his checkbook out and pay all of the staff, right? Which, by the way, we haven't furloughed, right? So they're not getting paid. If I've understood that correctly, they're not getting paid. They're non-playing staff right now. Yeah.
Well, no, they are getting paid. They're still getting paid by Arsenal at the moment.
Right, so they're still getting paid. So Arsenal is losing money then, yeah? Because they're paying them, but they're not getting the money back in.
Right. So what they're asking the players to do now is they're saying, if this thing, you know, we're going to want you to take a pay cut so we can use some of that money.
I meant the non-playing staff. For the non-playing staff.
The non-playing staff have not been furloughed at Arsenal, right? So they're being paid. They're being paid at the moment,
okay,
right? But what they're asking the players to do is to take a pay cut unless they qualify for either the Champions League or the Europa League, to take a pay cut so that money can be used towards paying for those non-playing staff.
So there's two ways you could look at it then, because you could look at it and say, well, the amount of players that come out and say they love this football club, if they love it that much, they take a pay cut. Yeah. And you could look at it the opposite way and say, well, the guy who owns the company, the business, because that's what it is, it's a business, Arsenal Football Club, should he get his cash out and say, there you go, I'm just going to pay all of the staff for the next 6 months. But then
I mean, we were talking about it on the show this morning, and for me personally, the first person who should be taking their money out is the owner. He should be looking to cover, because the players are employees as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Let's be real, right? So all of them are employees. They all work for Stan Kroenke, right? The club's in a bad situation at the moment. He has a decision to make. If he doesn't want to use the furlough, which obviously would be very embarrassing, as we've seen with Tottenham and Liverpool, then really and truly, if the money's not coming in, he has to fit that bill. Why is he asking players?
Yeah,
I mean, I noticed with Tottenham actually, and give a bit of credit. I'm going to give a bit of credit to Tottenham now. What they are actually saying is, they're gonna, like, the hierarchy are gonna take a pay cut to pay for the staff for the time being, which to me, that's how it should be. Shouldn't be asking players. I mean, you can ask. The players have already said that they're going to give money towards the NHS and stuff like that, and I'm sure the players would be up for deferring wages and stuff like that. But why should they take a pay cut if they are also staff?
Yeah, see, look, if everyone's a paid employee of the football club, which these footballers are, the guy who works in the armory, the guy who works in ticket office or whatever, they're all paid employees, right? So technically, yes, you should look at it and say, okay, cool, they're all getting paid at the moment. Maybe the owner should dip into his own pocket and put the money in to pay all of the non-playing staff, because the playing staff will get paid regardless, right? The problem you have with that is he'd have to do that in terms of some sort of loan, right? Which means we'd have to pay him back, right? So whilst that's great now and it's a good look on him now and everyone will be like, oh, yes, it's amazing. In 6 months' time, when he wants his money back and we're going into a transfer window, and we can't go and do that extra 10, 12, 15 million quid on a player, everyone's going to be back to square one again with him. The flip side of that is the players could take a wage cut, of 10%, 12.5%, 7.5%, whatever it may be. And then that then covers the cost.
But the players don't own the club, Lee. It's not their club. You can say, the players say they love the club.
Yeah.
He says he loves the club as well. He owns it. It's his club. Yeah. So the onus is on him, not a loan. Get your hand in your pocket. We're in a bad situation. And sort out the staff, right? Sort the staff out in the interim until things get back to normal. Why are you putting the pressure on the players? And don't get me wrong, it would be good if the players can contribute to it as well.
Yeah.
But for me, that is not down to the players. That is down to the person who owns the football club to make that decision. It shouldn't be this document that came out, this 5-point document, strikes me as something that's been